Hey guys, all right. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to get ready to do another collaboration here. I've got an idea. Yeah, my voice. Haven't been talking much today. So this is a collaboration for a YouTube/Instagrammer. I'll let you know who that is once we start doing the layout. But I'm really excited about this one. I'm going to do some things that I haven't done before. So we are going to use here. If you want to go down here, I have cut some strips of black walnut and white poplar. So this is actually going to be a 15-inch circle, and so what I've done is I've ripped these into strips. Now you'll notice that the white poplar is obviously taller. I think those are about 2-inch strips. Yep, about 2-inch. I learned this, and again, I hope it works the way I remember it when I was a kid. There was a cabinet maker that had a cabinet shop close to us when we were over in California when I was real young, and he used to do this. You could do this with just 2 of these pieces and not necessarily these. I just made them all 2-inch. Theoretically, what this is going to do is once this is dried up, then I'll run it through the planer on these to flatten the other side, and it will. I won't have to worry about the glue very much because these edges won't have any glue on them. So theoretically, that's the way it's supposed to work, and then I'll mill it all down. I cut these way bigger than they really need to be as far as width. If it's 1.25 inches, it's fine, and these are 1.5 inches. So I got plenty of material to work with. Again, I cut them way longer than they need to be. It's going to be a 15-inch circle, so I got all kinds of room at the ends. I always want to have extra room. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to lay these all down, and we're going to spread glue on them, and then we're going to clamp them all up. Vicky is going to actually be my assistant and help me with that. So we've got a couple glue spreaders, and again, I've got plenty of
there you go.
I got plenty of glue.
Oh, holy crap.
Over the edge. I went nuts there. Sorry about that. Here we go. I'll work from this.
Try to keep out of the way here. I'll let you do that side. I'll kind of just do this side.
So it's actually a really nice day out here, and we glued one up already. Gosh, I'm making a really mess out of this.
Yeah. The other one wasn't quite enough, and this one's a little bit crazy.
Yeah, a little bit too much. I glued one up already. I'll show you here in a minute. I don't know. Did you show it on camera yet?
Yeah, you can see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Holy moly, babe.
Well, I'd rather have too much. I'm more glue rather than less. That's just obviously I am not a professional at this part of it, but I think it'll work. That's a lot of glue.
Sorry if my arm's in the way. Gotta get it moved around here.
Anyway, my point was it's kind of a nice day out here, and it's going to dry fairly fast. Almost feels like spring today. That's all right. It'll all squeeze out.
Planted today.
Yeah, Vicky planted some trees today. We've got some citrus trees planted, right?
Well, we got a lemon tree, an orange tree, and a fig tree.
Dad wanted a fig.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of figs, but your dad is. So.
I think he just likes fig Newtons.
Well.
No, actually, I like fig Newtons.
You can make fake jam with figs.
Yeah. His mom, my grandma, was a big proponent of figs. Dad grew up with a fig tree. All right, so here we go. Now let's see if we can make this work.
They're already sticking together.
What a mess. It's a reason I don't make cutting boards, guys, is because this is just not really my specialty. But hopefully I can make it work. These are the Bessie clamps. I really like these Bessie clamps.
Yeah, we need more of those.
Huh?
They were actually at Workbench Con.
Bessie, yeah, they had a booth at Workbench Con. That's true. I really like these Bessie clamps. I got to get some more of them. So that's pretty nice, pretty tight. So now we'll just use a rag and wipe up the excess. I want to make sure that I don't have any glue up on these top rails, because that again will be the first thing that feeds through on the bed of the planer. And I'm having to do obviously two of these, two separate pieces, because my planer is only 12 inches. So I'll make these boards individually, get them milled down to the same thickness, and then I'll glue them together, two pieces together. That way I can do all my milling. All right, so that is it. I'll turn these over actually. Make sure I've got plenty of pressure there. Yeah, I think that'll be fine.
Come back up now. I'm gonna move this now. Get this out of the way.
Oh no, that's okay. I'm actually just gonna wipe this down now. Wipe that down as
the way you've been, those some of these, you don't want to stick your head in the middle of all that glue or something.
Oh. Nothing but confidence coming from my wife. I like that. All right. Yeah, see, that looks pretty good.
Hold it up so we can see that side.
They didn't float on me. What I was a little worried about is that the walnut pieces would float a little bit, but the Bessie clamps are holding them right in place. So that is about that. So we're going to let those dry. When we come back, we will take those off the clamps, and I'll mill them all down, and then we'll put those two together and move on. Get ready for the layout, I guess. Oh no, we have to cut the circle first, because it's gonna be a 15-inch circle. But you guys will see that whole process. So we'll be back. All right, guys, let's bust these things off the clamps. See how these things came out. And so far, everything I can tell looks like they came out pretty good. Yeah. Looks pretty decent. I like that. So now what I'll do is I'll bust the other one out of the clamps, and then this obviously I'm going to run this through the planer like that, and surface that down. Then I'll flip it over and mill that down, and I'll end up with a piece that's probably about 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. Then we'll come back and we'll glue those together and make our full piece. All right, guys, so these all glued up really well. I love how they came out. I ran them through the planer, and having those the poplar, the white poplar, having those long, that really worked slick. I really like the way that worked. So I think I made them a little bit too wide, because those were 2 inches and these were down to like 1 5/8 inches. But overall, after I did all my milling, I'm still a little bit more than 1.5. So I really like the way the whole thing is looking. So all we've got to do now is just glue that one seam. And let's do it right now and get this going. Wow, that glue is pretty thin. I think we might have, our glue in the bottle was, yeah, it was kind of chunky, so we added some water to it. And I think we might have added just a tad too much water. But I want to make sure and get good coverage. So the next step after this, we will be cutting our shape, which is going to be a 15-inch round. Put a little pressure on that. And so I don't want these things to float on me, so I'm going to use my cauls. These are just little pieces of 3/4 inch MDF, or 3/4 inch MDF that are covered with packing tape so they won't stick. And then I got to come around that side, but should be just fine. Yeah, we're getting good squeeze out there. Just what I wanted. Nice, good seam. So, that is that, guys. I will, we'll come back. We'll take these off the clamps, and then I'll have a pattern. We'll cut our circle. All right, folks, we are back. So it is time to cut this circle. So I'm doing something a little bit different that I've never really done before. I'm going to cut a 15-inch circle, and you'll notice that my circle isn't 15 inches. It's about 9 inches. The reason I did that, and so what I'm going to do really is I'm just going to follow this pattern with my router all the way around on the edge. Normally when I'm cutting shapes, you guys know that I use the template guides. This goes in here, and then the bit comes down through here, and then that rides on the template or the cutout pattern. But here's the deal, is the cutter is only so long. I've got the cutter in here 3/4 of an inch right now. It's in the collet 3/4 of an inch, so I'm good there. But if I was to use the router base plate up on top of this, because of that extra 1/2 inch, I would have needed more length, which means the router bit would have to be come out of the collet a little bit more, and I really didn't want to do that. So for this particular instance, especially being as it's just a round shape, then what I did was I made my pattern 6 inches smaller, and it's 3 inches from here to the center of the hole, basically. And so by the time I go all the way around that, it'll give me a 15-inch circle. So that's the first part of it. I wanted to explain that. Now, the videos, in case you haven't seen it, the videos with how to cut with this thing, in case you're brand new, go back and watch videos number 7 and number 41, 42, and then there's a bunch of others after that. And I'll show you how to use the spiral upcut bit, which is what this is. This is the same bit, the spiral upcut, and the template guides in order to cut your shapes, like with a pattern like that, you know, like we've done many times. But you watch those videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. So that is, I wanted to really kind of go into depth on that. So when you're cutting a lot of material like this, you want this bit to be in there. It's unplugged right now, by the way. You want that bit to be in there as far as you can get it and still be able to give you enough depth to get through your piece. And I'm 1.5 inches thick, actually just a tad over 1.5 inches thick on this board, so I need as much of this bit as I can use, but I'm still in there 3/4 of an inch. I was going to do that on camera, but trust me when I say I actually made marks on the edge of the bit, and I'm in there 3/4 of an inch, so I'll be good. But you really have to take it slow. Now, the other aspect is the flute on this is only 3/4 of an inch, but I just about sliced my finger there. That would have been bad. Bleed all over my board. Anyway, these things are sharp. I'm going to take it probably about 1/4 of an inch, somewhere around 1/4 of an inch at a time. Take my time because I'm cutting fairly hard with that walnut, and the poplar can be kind of tough too. So I'm going to take my time and go multiple passes through there. And by the time I get past 3/4 of an inch, then there'll be a groove that this can ride in, and it should be just fine. We shouldn't have any issues there, even if there's a little bit of burning, which I don't expect that there will be. But even if there is a slight bit of burning on the edge, it won't really matter because the edge is going to be sprayed black. And anyway, so that is that. You also, anytime you're cutting material like this with this spiral upcut, make sure that bit is in there tight. Really, really tight. And then check it once in a while. If you're using a long, prolonged period of time, check it once in a while. Make sure that hasn't loosened up on you. What am I forgetting? Let's see. I think that is about it. Oh, when I get ready on the next scene, I'll have this set up. When I get ready, I'll be cutting counterclockwise, and you'll see that on those other videos as well. So I'll be cutting counterclockwise. If I was to cut clockwise, it would tend to drift away from the pattern itself, from the cutout template. So if you cut counterclockwise, it will hold it in there against that template much better. Again, that's stuff kind of reiterating those other videos that I mentioned. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put my base on, get ready to go, plug it in. We're going to come back and we're going to get it cut. Okay, so you will see, you might notice that this circle is kind of, it's not centered top to bottom here. This is going to be top to bottom. And I wanted to strategically place it so that my 15-inch circle isn't the same at the top. You can see this line here and this line here means that I'll have, theoretically, I should have about the same amount of white at the top and brown at the bottom with the walnut and the white poplar. So if I had put it right in the center, it would have been brown at the top and the bottom, and that's not really what I want. Not that it makes that big a difference, but it's my sign, I can make it the way I want to. So there. Okay, so I've got the bit set at about 1/4 of an inch, and I just eyeballed it. So what I want to do is I want to bring it in, set it down there, turn it on, slowly plunge it in, and then take it one step at a time. Here we go. Okay, let me explain what's going on here, guys. It is burning, and you can see that cutter is getting really hot, and it's burning. And the reason being is I should have started with a brand new cutter, but I didn't. And my hunch is that this has been ground once or twice, not by us, because we don't really grind the spiral bits, but I think it's been ground once or twice from a machine shop. And so what that means is that diameter of this is not a full 1/4 of an inch, which is what the shaft is. Theoretically, if it was a brand new cutter, then the diameter that this cuts would be the same as the shaft. I'm trying not to touch it. Would be the same as the shaft, so there really wouldn't be burning like there is here. So what I've got at least 1 or 2 more passes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cutter out and I'm going to replace it with a brand new cutter, and I think that will make a difference. So we'll be right back. Not quite all the way through in a few spots there. Looks like we definitely got some burning, but that's all right. Oh, by the way, this was held down with just screws. That's how this was held down. Again, this is cutting from the back, so it doesn't really matter on the back. And we do have some burning on there, but again, it won't really matter. Now, this is the way I cut stuff, but you know, you guys might use a circle jig, you might use your bandsaw, whatever. But that is pretty much the shape I want. If I'm right, use my little micro zip. Love this little thing.
We got those at Workbench last year.
The Workbench Con 2018, yeah. Very handy. Love these things. So, if all is right, that should be about 15 inches. It's just a little shy of 15 inches, but that's no problem. That works for me. So there is my piece, and this is what I wanted, a little bit of white on the top, and that's a perfect match there. There is my piece. So on the next video, it is time to do, it is time, I'm admiring I love this walnut and white poplar. I love the way it looks. I think it's just so cool. So I'm going to do some sanding on there, kind of get this evened up. Although it's pretty even, I will say that's a pretty even cut. A lot of times there'll be a little bit of variations there. There's a couple little spots that I have to clean up, so I'm going to do that. And then when we come back, it's time to start the layout, and you're going to find out who this is for. All right, you guys, so I have, I got it all sanded down, 220 on the front and the back. I went ahead and trimmed up the edges. I really love the way this thing looks. I am so excited to get to start carving it. So I was gonna hold off and tell you who it was for on the next video, because this one is now pretty much full, so I'm gonna end it here. I was gonna wait until next time to tell you who it's for, but I can't wait. So I'm gonna tell you right now. This is for Glen over at DIY Creations. DIY Creations. Glen is a super good dude. I've been emailing him for about a month, and we've been going back and forth. He finally got me. If you guys know who this guy is, you know he's super busy. The guy makes, his videos are amazing. He's super big in YouTube and Instagram. So I've been emailing him, and then we had a chance to actually meet him in at Workbench Con in Atlanta. Super cool dude. Vicky and I talked to him. We must sat and talked to him for 10 or 15 minutes. Super nice guy. I actually, huh?
Yeah, pretty eyes.
Yeah, he's just a great guy. I love his videos. His videos are so precise, so clean. That's why I really want to do it justice. And I wanted to do something really, really special. I've got some techniques that I want to do on here that I've never done before, that I've been thinking about it. I've been kind of just thinking about different things to do on here. But yeah, even the last day we left, it was early in the morning. You guys know me, I'm up early. I was down in the, he was sleeping, and I was down in the lobby of the Hilton at, I don't know, 3:30 or 4, something like that, answering emails. And I was ready to go back up to the room, and Glen actually saw me and got to say goodbye to him as he was taking off. He was catching an early flight. But anyway, I'm super excited. Glen, if you're seeing this, thank you again so much. Just loved meeting you, and I hope I do this justice for you, my friend. So on the next video, we will get this laid out and we'll start the carving. I don't know how far we'll get. I'm still playing with a couple ideas, but we'll definitely get into the carving, get the layout done, and get into the carving. So everybody have a great one, and we'll see you on the next video. If you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love for you to subscribe and click that little bell icon so you get notification when we do videos 3 times a week. If you have any questions on anything I've done on here, please email me directly, eric@makeawoodsign.com. I'm running out of breath because I think I said that all in one breath. If you need to get a hold of Vicky, vickiwithdavescience@gmail.com. And thanks again, guys. We love you, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.